What makes a car truly special? Well, it's got to have amazing acceleration, awesome braking, and incredible grip. It certainly doesn't hurt if it's made in Italy or if it's in my favorite color, bright frickin' yellow. This is the Lamborghini Huracan LP610-4, and it's all that and more. The latest product from Lamborghini. It's the successor to the popular and best-selling Gallardo model. Now, they're trying to one-up that car, and what that means is they're trying to offer better performance, obviously, but also better daily drivability. So, does the Huracan deliver? That's what we're here to find out. So let's get right to the sexy stuff. The question here isn't, is the Lamborghini Huracan awesome? The question is, just how awesome is it? And I can tell you the answer is loads. You'd be mistaken in assuming the 5.2-liter V10 engine behind me is just a carryover unit from the last Lamborghini Gallardo. This engine has been completely reworked. It's got better responsiveness, it makes 50 more horsepower, and it's just an all-new mill when you come right down to it. In a world of turbocharged engines, I have to hand it to Lamborghini to sticking to a naturally aspirated setup. It's so responsive, and frankly, it's exhilarating. The throttle response is just so good. And then there's the sound. I mean, if the Germans and Austrians have given us classical composers and England's given us the Beatles, well, the Italians have given us this. No, you can't get a manual transmission, but frankly, I don't care. This 7-speed dual clutch setup is just perfect and allows me to focus on using all of this awesome 610 horsepower. I will say it's not quite perfect, and while this 7-speed dual clutch unit is probably the same one that's in the Audi R8, well, Lamborghini certainly didn't get the same shift logic. Sometimes it's super smooth and buttery and it just bangs in the next gear, and other times it's a pretty violent shift and it's not always the same. Now, bringing this car to life is this little button on the bottom of the steering wheel called the anima. Now, that's Italian for soul, and it's also some strange acronym for something that's pretty nerdy sounding. But what it does is offer you 3 different drive modes in this car. There's the Strada, Sport, and Corsa mode, and they do very different things. In each of the different settings, it completely transforms the personality of the car. It's adjusting the magnetic ride shock absorbers, the transmission gearing, how sensitive the throttle is, and a whole bunch of other factors, especially the steering. In Corsa mode, you're in 100% control. It'll deliver all of the power to the rear wheels if you want, and it will not upshift unless you ask it to. I never say this, but even in sport mode, this car is absolutely incredible. Even if you catch a bit of a slide in a corner, you can just roll on the power and it'll just rocket you out the other side. So those driving impressions are a lot of fun, but what we really need here are some real statistics, and this car delivers big numbers. Powering the beast is a 5.2-liter V10 engine, making 610 horsepower and 413 foot-pounds of torque. It'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds and blast onto a top speed of over 202 miles per hour. Power is, of course, delivered to all 4 wheels through a new 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. It rides on a new platform mating aluminum and carbon fiber to help it shed at least 50 pounds over its predecessor. And as for that big price number, well, it costs $237,000 and change. Looking at the car more in depth, the design is actually somewhat more subtle than I would actually expect from Lamborghini. But if you look closely, there's a lot of these unique hexagonal shapes all over the vehicle. The car itself, though, is really quite smooth, and there's none of those big sort of aerodynamic protrusions we've seen on a lot of their modern supercars lately, these low volume cars like the Veneno. Despite all that, downforce on this vehicle is actually 50% more than what you've got on the Gallardo. The look is unmistakably Lamborghini, and the same can be said inside the car. Like the Aventador, there are full digital gauges with a 12.3-inch display screen right in front of your face. It's got some really cool graphics on it, very fighter jet inspired, much like the rest of the cabin. I mean, look at this, these cool toggle switches up on the top, and down here there's this awesome two-stage ignition that you have to flip up before you turn it on. Those hexagonal design cues from outside the car are everywhere inside as well, all over the dash. We've got the air vents right in the middle of the steering wheel and all kinds of designs right through the center console. If I have any critiques about the interior of the car, it's that these buttons on the dash really look a bit too much like something out of an Audi, and there's good reason for that. Audi actually owns Lamborghini. The benefits of that, however, can really be seen when you get this car out on the open road. Obviously, there are huge advantages to the magnetic ride shock absorbers on the track, but their biggest benefit is on the street, where they just make the car so much more livable. Just leave it in Strata mode and it's amazing how comfortable it is to drive, especially after I know the performance it is capable of. But easily the single biggest improvement when it comes to day-to-day driving is the car's dual clutch transmission. The old single clutch unit on the Gallardo was really jerky, and this car is just so smooth. Superior in every way to the Gallardo that it replaces, I'm perhaps most impressed with the fact that it really is just so much more civilized to drive. And yet, to fully appreciate the Lamborghini Huracan, it really should be driven, and driven hard.